Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Dr. Debbie Javier. Please don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button for you to be notified every time that I'm going to have a new video. For those who have already subscribed, thank you so much. So today I will be discussing the continuation of how to master tenses of verbs. This is part 2. So may I just give you a recap of what I have in my part 1. So you have there, we differentiated between the tenses of the Filipino language and the English language. And then I have given you some tips on how to make your students easily understand and master the lesson on tenses. That is, you should be able to indicate specifically when to use the tense and be able to give them a relevant and simple examples. So let's start. We have, of course, we will now proceed with the progressive tenses. So under progressive tenses, we have the present progressive, the past progressive, and the future progressive. So may I just remind you that progressive and continuous are the same. So in this video, I will be making use of the term progressive tense. So how do we construct the present progressive tense? So how? First, you have to use the present tense of the be verb. So what are be verbs? We have is, are, okay? And then the ing form of the verb. So I have here an example. I divided it into two. We have the singular and then the plural. Is walking, are walking. Is talking, are talking. Is cooking, are cooking. Of course, for the singular, you make use of these forms or verb phrases if you have a singular subject. And then for the plural, verb phrases are walking, are talking, and are cooking. You make use of this one if your subject is plural. So I have here tables again. So the tense is on the first column. When to use it is on the second column. And then the examples are in the third column. If you are going to present your topic or lesson on tenses in this manner, it's very easy for your students to understand. They can easily follow. So when to use it? First, number 1, to show an action as a process that is going on. I think most Filipinos are very familiar with this one because we have this in our own tense. That is pangkasalukuyan or the imperfectivo. Okay, so we have here, the students are writing a political analysis paper. So our writing would indicate that the action is in progress. And then we have, my mother is cooking spaghetti. So it is also a process that is going on. So as of this time, my mom is cooking spaghetti. And the third example, our dog is chasing your cat. So it means to say, as of this moment, the process or the action is going on. So those are the 3 examples for the present progressive tense. Next, how about number 2? To show habitual action, often with the idea of showing disapproval or dislike. This is the second way on how you're going to make use or when you're going to make use of the present progressive tense. Examples, the dog is usually chasing the cat. So this is habitual. That's why you have there the adverb usually. So it means to say it's often done. Okay, although it also shows an idea of showing disapproval or dislike. So it's a habitual action or often with the idea of showing disapproval or dislike. Second example, Joanne is always talking too much. Always talking is always talking shows that it's habitual. So maybe you don't like it. It's also something that you dislike. Number 3, my sister is always asking for a special favor. So is always asking also shows habitual action. Meaning to say she did not only do it once, she keeps on doing it or she's always doing it. She's doing it many times. Okay, that is number 2. Now we have the past progressive. So, how are we going to construct our sentence using the past progressive tense? Use the past tense of the be verb plus the ing form of the verb. So we have here examples, singular and plural. Was walking, was talking, was cooking. For the plural, we have were walking, were talking, and were cooking. Of course, singular if your subject is singular, just like he, she, it, and then plural like we, they, and other plural subjects. So, when do we make use of the past progressive? First, use the past progressive tense to show duration with emphasis on the length of time of an act that is no longer going on. So, example, we have Janea Dariel was training her dog for 3 years. What does it mean when you say was training her dog for 3 years? So, this one has been happening for a certain period of time, but it's already over. It's no longer happening. So, she trained her dog. She was training her dog for 3 years. So, meaning to say after 3 years, she already stopped training her dog. Example number 2. The participants were waiting for the program to start for 2 hours. What does it mean? So, the action is no longer going on, but they were waiting or they waited for 2 hours. Number 2. When else can we make use of the past progressive tense? So, we can make use of the past progressive tense for an action in the past that was not completed in the time period mentioned. So, it was not completed. So, let's look at the examples. Number 1. Janea was trying to clean the house last week. What does it mean? The action was not completed because she was only trying. Number 2. The students were looking for a costume yesterday. What does it mean? They were not able to find a costume. They did not find one. Next is the third use of the past progressive tense. So when else can we make use of the past progressive tense? So use the past progressive tense for an action that was going on at a time in the past when something else happened. So we have to make use of while and when in constructing the third use of the past progressive tense. So let's differentiate the two. While means during the time and when means at that time. So let's look at the examples. Janea Dariel was training her dog when her mother arrived. So was training was the first action that was going on at a time in the past, and arrived was another past action. The second example, we have while Janea was training her dog, her mother arrived. So was training was the first action, and then arrived was the second action. So we made use, in these two sentences, we made use of when and while to connect the two actions together. Next, let's now proceed with the future progressive tense. So in the future progressive tense, we have to make use of the future will plus the be plus the ing form of the verb. And then in here, in this diagram, you can see that there are two columns. The first column are the pronouns which can be used either singular or plural. And then the second column, we have there the formula that you're going to use in forming the future progressive. So what does it mean? You can either make use of a singular or plural pronouns or subjects, and then you will still make use of the same future progressive tense of the verb. Like we can have we will be walking, or I will be walking, she will be eating, or will be cooking, and so on. So when do we use the future progressive? So use the future progressive tense to state an action that will continue to happen in the future. Example. Number 1. Several nuns will be visiting the Holy Father in Rome. So this is an action that will continue to happen in the future. Meaning to say, these nuns or several nuns will be visiting the Holy Father in Rome. Number 2. The students will be submitting their requirements online. So This one means that they will be submitting, meaning to say, this action will continue to happen. So, that's how you're supposed to teach the progressive tenses. So, do it in a table form, indicate when to use it, give relevant and simple examples for your students to understand. So, I hope that this video on progressive tenses will be of help to you, will be able to guide you, and will make your lives easier for you to be able to discuss progressive tenses with your students. So this video is not only for teachers, it can be for students, it can also be for moms, especially for moms who are teaching their children at home. So this one will definitely guide you on how to make your children and your students be able to understand progressive tenses. So again, this is Dr. Debbie Javier. I hope that I was able to share something useful again in this video. Happy teaching, and I would like to leave you with this line again. Always be a blessing to others. Bye!